Have you ever noticed how some mornings you wake up feeling tired, even though you slept through the night? Maybe your legs feel weaker, or simple tasks that used to be easy now seem to drain your energy faster. It's something many of us over 60 experience quietly, and we often tell ourselves it's just a natural part of getting older. But what if that's not the whole story? What if this low energy and joy slipping away isn't just because of age or moving less, but something else that we can change? This feeling might seem small or easy to ignore, but it quietly steals away the vitality and happiness we deserve in our golden years. Many people don't realize how much a few habits can impact our daily energy and mood, sometimes in ways we don't expect. In this video, I want to walk with you through one surprising habit that could be draining your strength and joy without you even knowing it. By the end, you'll discover simple steps to reclaim your energy and bring more happiness back into your everyday life. Let's explore this together, with kindness and understanding, because feeling vibrant at any age is something we all deserve. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Saying, "I'm too old to try anything new." It often starts so quietly that you hardly notice. Maybe you're sitting at the kitchen table, a cup of coffee in hand, listening to the faint hum of morning news, when you hear about someone your age picking up a new hobby or traveling somewhere they've never been. You might smile, shake your head, and think, "Good for them, but that's just not for me. I'm too old for all that now." The words slip out almost without thinking, like an old jacket that feels comfortable but keeps you stuck inside, safe and sheltered from anything new. Maybe you don't even say it out loud. It just sits there, lingering in the back of your mind. I'm too old to try anything new. You've lived a full life, and done your share of learning and changing. Isn't it time to just settle in and enjoy the familiar? It's so easy to fall into that gentle rut, because, after all, you've earned a little peace, right? But have you ever paused to ask yourself, is it age that holds me back, or is it just the story I've told myself over the years? What if that phrase, "I'm too old to try anything new," isn't true? What if, instead of being a fact, it's simply a habit of thinking that's quietly shaped the way you see yourself? Imagine, just for a moment, that you have far more potential and curiosity left than you ever realized. What might happen if you traded that old story for a new one? Let's talk honestly, heart to heart. Scientists have spent years studying what helps people age well, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, too. They found something fascinating. It's not age itself that limits our ability to learn, adapt, or grow. Our brains are surprisingly capable of forming new connections, even after 60, 70, or 80 years of living. This phenomenon, called neuroplasticity, means your brain is a bit like a garden. If you plant something new, water it, and give it sunlight, it can grow at almost any age. Studies from Harvard, the National Institutes of Health, and universities around the world have shown that seniors who take on new challenges, whether it's learning to play an instrument, picking up a language, trying new recipes, or simply exploring a different walking route, actually strengthen their brains, boost their mood, and even reduce their risk of memory loss or depression. But there's something even more important. When we let ourselves try something new, we rekindle a sense of purpose. That feeling of looking forward to tomorrow, of feeling a small spark of excitement or curiosity, is like fresh air for the soul. It doesn't have to be something grand. It might be as simple as joining a new club at the senior center, planting a new flower in the yard, or calling an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. The act of stepping outside your comfort zone, even just a little, tells your mind and body, "I'm still growing. I'm still alive." And that makes all the difference. If you're wondering where to start, don't worry. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here's a gentle everyday approach that anyone can try, no matter your age or background. Think about something you've always been curious about, but maybe never got around to. It could be cooking a dish from another culture, learning to paint, dancing, or even using a smartphone app to connect with family. The next step is to break it down into the smallest, most manageable pieces. Instead of signing up for a semester-long art class, just buy a set of watercolor paints and experiment on your porch one afternoon. If the idea of joining a group feels intimidating, start by chatting with just one neighbor, or writing a letter to a friend. If you want to get moving but aren't sure where to begin, try a gentle stretching video on YouTube, or take a 5-minute walk and notice the sounds and colors around you. The key is not how big or impressive the action is, but simply that you take it. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. Not long ago, I met a gentleman named Bill at the local library's book club. Bill is 74, with a warm smile and a quick wit, but he told me that after retiring from his job as a mechanic, he often felt restless and a little bit invisible. I figured my days of learning were over, he admitted. And besides, who wants to teach an old dog new tricks? But one afternoon, while helping his granddaughter with a school project, Bill got curious about her digital camera. He'd never used one before. His world was all wrenches and engines, not buttons and screens. Still, his granddaughter patiently showed him the basics. Bill started taking photos around the neighborhood. Birds, sunsets, the worn grain of his old toolbox. He was surprised by how much fun it was. Soon, he started reading about photography online, even watching short tutorials. Months later, Bill had not only picked up a new hobby, but he'd also made new friends through a local photography club. "It's given me something to look forward to again," Bill told me, his eyes sparkling. "I never thought I'd be the one teaching my buddies about aperture and lighting, but here we are." The change in his mood, energy, and sense of belonging was remarkable, all because he was willing to say yes to something new. Maybe your something new isn't photography. Maybe it's learning to bake bread, taking up gardening, volunteering, or finally writing down the stories of your life for your grandchildren. The details don't matter as much as the willingness to try. And remember, it's normal to feel nervous or awkward when you begin. That's a sign you're growing. Every time you learn something new, you're giving your brain and your heart a little workout. And the best part? There's no grade, no rush, no need to be perfect. The joy is in the journey itself. I know it's easy to believe that, after a certain age, life becomes more about memories than making new ones. But that's just another story. A story you have the power to change, starting right now. Each day is a blank page, waiting for a new adventure or connection. Whether it's small or bold, what matters is that you permit yourself to be curious and open to the world. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, "I'm too old to try anything new," pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is that true? Or is it just a habit of thinking I've outgrown? Remind yourself that every day brings an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to surprise yourself in the best possible ways. You are not defined by your age, but by your willingness to say yes to life. Today, let yourself be a beginner again. Take that first step, however small. Your mind and your heart are far more capable than you think, and there is still so much joy and energy waiting for you, just on the other side of something new. If Bill could do it, so can you. The adventure isn't over. In fact, it might just be getting started. You've come so far, lived through so much, and have so many stories to share. But the best chapters are still ahead, waiting for you to write them. Permit yourself to keep growing, to keep learning, and to find happiness in the unexpected. You're never too old. Not today, not ever. The world is still full of beautiful things for you to discover. Let's see what tomorrow brings, together. 2. Isolating yourself and avoiding social connection. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Sometimes, the silence at home can feel almost comforting, a familiar quiet that wraps around you like an old, soft blanket. Maybe your children have moved out long ago, the grandkids live in another state, and friends you used to see every week have their own busy lives. The TV is on for background noise, but the laughter and conversation that once filled the house seem like distant echoes. Days start to blur together, and even simple things, like picking up the phone to call someone or heading out to a community event, start to feel like chores instead of pleasures. You tell yourself, "I'm fine on my own. I don't need to bother anyone." Or perhaps you think, "Everyone's busy, I don't want to be a burden." So you stay in, watching the seasons change from the window, convincing yourself it's easier this way. But have you ever wondered if being alone so much is really what you want, or if it's simply become a habit? Is this quiet independence something you've truly chosen, or is it a kind of armor, protecting you from the discomfort of reaching out? And what if this solitude, as gentle as it may feel, is quietly draining your energy and stealing small joys from your life? Could it be that staying isolated doesn't just keep you from others, but also from parts of yourself? The laughter, the stories, and even the sense of purpose that comes from connection? Let's look at what science tells us, and why this matters so much more than most people realize. Studies across the world, including research from Harvard's famous Study of Adult Development, have found that social connection is the single greatest predictor of happiness and longevity, outweighing even diet or exercise. Loneliness, on the other hand, can be as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It raises blood pressure, increases inflammation, and can even weaken the immune system. The heart and mind, it turns out, crave connection at every age. Without it, depression and memory problems become far more common. But when we have just a handful of meaningful relationships, family, friends, neighbors, or community members, we're not only happier but also physically healthier and mentally sharper. You might be thinking, well, I'm not a social butterfly. I'm fine with my own company. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying solitude. But social connection doesn't have to mean big gatherings or constant chatter. It's about feeling seen, heard, and valued. It can be as simple as a regular coffee with a neighbor, sharing a story with a friend over the phone, or waving to familiar faces at the grocery store. It's about being a part of something, no matter how small. If reaching out feels daunting, here are some gentle steps to try. Start by noticing the opportunities for connection that are already present in your day. Maybe it's the mail carrier, the person who checks you out at the store, or the dog walker who passes by each morning. Offer a smile or a good morning. These little moments, when repeated, build trust and openness over time. If you feel lonely, don't be ashamed to admit it. You're not alone. Millions of people feel the same way, especially after retirement or losing a spouse. The key is to take one small step outside your comfort zone. You might call an old friend and simply say, "I've been thinking about you." Or you might check the bulletin board at the local library or community center for events. Many are designed just for seniors, like book clubs, game nights, gardening groups, or walking clubs. Churches and places of worship also offer ways to meet others and share stories. Volunteering, even in a small way, can give you a sense of meaning and a reason to get out of bed in the morning. Let me tell you about Marie, a woman I met at a potluck at our town's senior center. Marie is 81, her hair silver and always pulled back neatly, and she lived alone for years after her husband passed away. "I thought I was okay," she said. "I kept myself busy with crosswords and TV, and I told myself I didn't need anyone. But I started to feel tired all the time. I couldn't sleep well. I felt, well, almost invisible." Marie's daughter encouraged her to try just one activity. Nothing big, just a weekly craft class. At first, Marie felt awkward. She didn't know anyone and wondered if she'd made a mistake. But the instructor greeted her by name, and another woman invited her to sit nearby. They started chatting about their grandchildren, and suddenly, Marie realized an hour had flown by. She came back the next week, then the week after. Pretty soon, she was looking forward to Thursdays. "It's not just about the crafts," she told me. "It's about feeling like I belong somewhere again. I even sleep better now." You don't have to dive in all at once. Maybe your first step is just opening the curtains and watching for neighbors to wave to. Or maybe you call someone you haven't spoken to in months. Chances are, they'll be glad to hear your voice. If you're not sure where to begin, ask your local library, senior center, or place of worship what's going on this month. There are so many people, just like you, looking for connection but waiting for someone to make the first move. Why not let that someone be you? It's true. Life can change a lot after 65. Children move away, old friends pass on, and health challenges make it harder to get out. But none of those things means you have to go it alone. The world is full of people who would welcome your stories, your laughter, and your presence. You have so much to offer, and it's never too late to make a new friend or reconnect with an old one. So, if you catch yourself slipping into the habit of isolation, if the days seem a little too quiet, or the evenings a little too long, remember that even the smallest step toward connection can change everything. You might discover a new purpose, rediscover old joys, or simply find comfort in knowing that someone cares. The courage to reach out, even just a little, is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. As you go forward, keep this in your heart. You matter, and you are not alone. Every hello, every smile, every phone call is a thread that weaves you back into the fabric of community and life. Don't let another day pass in silence. Open the door, figuratively or literally, and let the world back in, even just a little at a time. There is so much life, laughter, and love still waiting for you out there. The next chapter can be even richer than the last, all because you took that brave, gentle step toward connection. 3. Watching too much negative news. It's a habit that sneaks up on you. Maybe it starts with turning on the TV every morning to catch the headlines or scrolling through news updates on your phone after dinner. Before you know it, hours slip by, one story after another, each headline more alarming than the last. Stories about crime, disasters, political fights, and health scares become the background music of your days. You tell yourself, I just want to stay informed. Maybe you think it's part of being a responsible citizen, someone who cares about the world and wants to know what's going on. Yet, somewhere along the way, you notice a heaviness settling over you. You feel tense, maybe even anxious. The world starts to look darker than it used to, and the smallest things can suddenly seem overwhelming. Still, you shrug it off. Everyone watches the news. I need to know what's happening. But here's a question worth asking. Does watching all this negative news help you, or is it quietly draining your energy and stealing your peace of mind? Is staying glued to every crisis and tragedy making you safer and more prepared, or is it keeping you trapped in a cycle of worry and gloom? What if, instead of making you feel connected, it's building a wall between you and the everyday joys of life? Let's step back for a moment and look at what the experts say. Decades of research, including studies from the American Psychological Association and major universities, show that consuming too much negative news, especially as we get older, can have a real impact on our health. Our brains are wired to pay extra attention to threats and bad news. It's a survival mechanism that keeps our ancestors alert to danger. But today, the constant stream of negativity, from TV, radio, or the internet, triggers our stress response again and again, even when we're perfectly safe in our living room. Chronic exposure to alarming news can raise our levels of the stress hormone cortisol, which in turn can affect sleep, mood, memory, and even our immune system. You might notice yourself feeling more irritable or worried after watching a string of troubling stories. Maybe you find it harder to relax at night or to enjoy simple pleasures, a walk in the garden, a phone call with a friend, even your favorite meal. And over time, all this worry can make you feel tired, discouraged, or even hopeless about the future. It's easy to think, things have never been this bad, even though every generation has faced its share of challenges. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up being informed to protect your well-being. There are gentle, practical steps you can take to create a healthier relationship with the news, one that helps you stay connected to the world but doesn't steal your joy. Start by setting simple boundaries around your news intake. Instead of leaving the TV on in the background all day or checking your phone every hour, choose a specific time to catch up on the headlines. Maybe 15 or 30 minutes in the morning or the early evening. Turn off breaking news alerts, which can keep your mind on edge. Pick trusted sources that focus on facts, not sensationalism or endless speculation. Another helpful step is to balance the negative with the positive. For every story about trouble or conflict, seek out stories of kindness, resilience, and hope. Many newspapers and websites now feature good news sections. Tales of neighbors helping neighbors, young people making a difference, or communities coming together after hardship. Even better, spend time with uplifting books, music, or movies that make you smile and remind you of the goodness in people. It's also important to pay attention to how you feel. Notice when the news is making you tense, anxious, or sad. When that happens, permit yourself to take a break. Step outside for a breath of fresh air, call a loved one, or focus on something in your life that brings you comfort and joy. Practicing gratitude can help shift your perspective. Each evening, think of 3 small things you're grateful for: a kind word, a favorite song, or the way the sunlight looks through your window. Over time, this habit can help your mind focus more on what's good and hopeful. Let me tell you about Roger, a man I met at our community's weekly coffee hour. Roger is 78, sharp as a tack, and always ready with a story or a joke. But not long ago, he confessed that he'd fallen into a rut. Every morning I'd turn on the news and leave it running all day. It was always something bad: wars, shootings, scandals. I thought I was just staying informed, but I was starting to feel anxious all the time. I'd snap at my wife, lose sleep, and worry about things I couldn't control. It was like carrying a dark cloud around with me. Roger's doctor gently suggested a new diet, cutting back to just 30 minutes a day, and skipping the most sensational programs. At first, Roger resisted, afraid he'd miss something important. But he gave it a try. With the extra time, he started walking in the park, listening to music, and calling old friends just to chat. "You know what?" Roger told me. "I'm sleeping better, laughing more, and I haven't missed anything crucial. The world's still out there, but it doesn't have to be in my living room 24/7. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Maybe your story is a little like Roger's, or maybe you have your way of keeping up with current events. The point isn't to tune out the world, but to remember that your well-being matters just as much as your awareness. Life is too precious, especially at this stage, to spend it weighed down by worries you can't change. By setting gentle limits, seeking out hope, and giving yourself space to breathe, you're making room for more joy, more peace, and more of the small moments that truly matter. So next time you find yourself reaching for the remote or scrolling endlessly through news headlines, pause and ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to the life I want, or taking me further away? You have the power to choose what you let into your mind and heart. Let today be the day you protect your peace, guard your energy, and remember that there is still so much good, so much beauty and hope, waiting to be noticed in the world around you. You deserve to wake up with a light heart and a clear mind. Permit yourself to step away from the noise, even for a little while. Instead, turn your attention to things that lift you and make you feel alive. Share a story, sing a song, plant a flower, or simply sit quietly and feel grateful for the day you've been given. The news will always be there, but your joy is something you can choose every single day. 4. Eating just to get full, not to fuel your body. Have you ever found yourself at the kitchen table, finishing a meal without really tasting it? Just going through the motions, making sure you aren't hungry, but not thinking much about what's on your plate? Maybe you grab whatever's quick or easy, heat a TV dinner, or eat the same sandwich you've had for years. When you live alone, or you're cooking for just one or two, food can start to feel more like a chore than a pleasure. As long as I'm full, that's enough, you might say to yourself. Or maybe you catch yourself reaching for snacks late at night, eating more out of boredom or habit than genuine hunger. It happens to so many of us, especially as we get older. Preparing a fancy meal seems like too much effort, and after a lifetime of making sure others are fed, it's easy to lose sight of the role food plays in our well-being. But here's a gentle question. Is being full the same as being nourished? Does eating simply to quiet hunger help your body feel strong and your mind feel clear? What if the choices you make at mealtime have more power than you realize? Not just to keep you going, but to help you feel truly alive. What would happen if, instead of just eating to fill the gap, you started choosing foods that give you energy, heal your body, and lift your spirits? Science has a lot to say about the difference between eating for fullness and eating for health, especially as we age. Our bodies change over time. Muscle mass naturally decreases, bone strength can weaken, and the metabolism slows down. What's more, our sense of taste and appetite might shift, and some foods that once sounded delicious just don't appeal the same way. But what stays constant is this. Our cells still need high-quality fuel to repair themselves, fight off illness, and keep our minds sharp and our hearts strong. According to the National Institutes of Health and the American Heart Association, eating nutrient-rich foods, like colorful vegetables, leafy greens, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats, can make a world of difference in how we feel day to day. These foods support healthy digestion, stabilize blood sugar, lower cholesterol, and can even improve mood and memory. The challenge is that our culture often makes eating well feel complicated or expensive. Fast food is everywhere. Grocery stores line the aisles with convenient but processed meals, and when energy runs low, it's much easier to grab a bag of chips or a sugary pastry than to cook something wholesome. The truth is, you don't need gourmet meals or a perfect diet. You just need small, thoughtful changes that fit into your life. Start by thinking about how your food makes you feel, not just in the moment, but an hour later. Do you feel heavy, sluggish, or ready for a nap? Or do you feel light, satisfied, and ready to enjoy the rest of your day? That's the difference real food can make. Here's a gentle, practical approach you can try. no matter your age or cooking skills. Begin by adding one more fresh food to each meal. Slice a tomato into your sandwich, toss a handful of spinach into your scrambled eggs, or snack on an apple instead of cookies. Try to build your plate with a rainbow of colors: carrots, broccoli, berries, or beans. These simple choices bring in vitamins, minerals, and fiber that help your body work its best. If cooking feels like a burden, look for shortcuts. Pre-chopped veggies, rotisserie chicken, frozen fruits, or ready-made salads can all be healthy, time-saving options. And don't forget about hydration. Sometimes what feels like hunger is your body asking for water. Keep a glass nearby, and take sips throughout the day. Let me share the story of Edna, a neighbor I got to know at our local church potluck. Edna, now 76, used to think of food as just another item on her to-do list. After her husband passed away, she'd often skip breakfast, eat crackers for lunch, and grab fast food for dinner. "I just didn't care," she told me. Cooking for myself felt pointless. Over time, she noticed her energy dipping, her joints aching, and her mood growing gray and flat. At her annual checkup, her doctor gently suggested she try to eat more fruits and vegetables, just one serving per meal. Skeptical at first, Edna decided to give it a try. She started small, adding a banana to her breakfast and a salad to her dinner. As weeks went by, she noticed something subtle but real. She had more energy on her morning walks, her skin looked brighter, and her mind felt less foggy. Soon, Edna was experimenting with simple soups and stir-fries, using fresh herbs from her windowsill garden. "I never thought I'd care about food again," she told me, "but now, I look forward to meals. They feel like a gift I give myself." The change didn't happen overnight, but step by step, Edna found herself living, not just existing. If you feel stuck in a rut, remember, that change doesn't mean perfection. Start where you are, with what you have. If all you can manage is one healthy swap a day, that's already progress. Choose whole grain bread over white, yogurt over ice cream, or roasted vegetables instead of fries. If you're worried about budget, remember that frozen produce can be just as nutritious as fresh, and often cheaper. Beans, lentils, oats, and eggs are affordable, versatile, and packed with nutrients. And if you miss the comfort of your favorite foods, there's nothing wrong with a treat now and then. Just balance it with things that truly feed your body and soul. The act of nourishing yourself is more than just eating. It's a way of saying, "I matter. My well-being is worth the effort." Food can be an act of self-care, a source of pleasure, and a bridge to happier, healthier days. You might find that you sleep better, move more easily, and even laugh more often, all because you chose to treat your body with kindness. So, next time you sit down for a meal, pause for a moment. Notice what's on your plate. Ask yourself, is this food just filling me up, or is it truly fueling me? The answer might be the beginning of a new chapter, one where you wake up each morning with more energy, clearer thoughts, and a lighter spirit. You've given so much to others all your life. Now is the time to give a little back to yourself. You are never too old to make a change, never too set in your ways to discover new favorites, and never too late to start feeling better from the inside out. Let your meals be a celebration of life, a daily investment in your future, and a reminder that you deserve to feel your very best. Today, choose one thing, just one, to add or swap for something more nourishing. It's not about dieting or denying yourself. It's about giving your body what it truly needs. With every bite, you're sending yourself a message of hope and care. And that, more than anything, is the real fuel that will keep you strong, joyful, and ready for whatever life brings next. 5. Ignoring your sleep quality. It's easy to brush off a restless night, telling yourself, "That's just what happens at my age." Maybe you lie in bed staring at the ceiling, turning from side to side, waiting for sleep that never quite comes. Or perhaps you fall asleep quickly, only to wake up at 3 a.m., your mind spinning with worries or memories. You notice the sun rising and feel frustrated, knowing another day is beginning before you're ready for it. By morning, your limbs are heavy, your thoughts are foggy, and simple tasks seem twice as hard. Still, you get up, pour a strong cup of coffee, and push through, because what choice do you have? After all, everyone struggles with sleep when they get older, right? You might even joke about it with friends, as if sleeplessness is just a badge of honor that comes with age. But what if we pause to ask ourselves, Does poor sleep have to be a fact of life after 60, or have we simply come to accept it as normal? What if those restless nights and sluggish days are not inevitable, but are signals from our bodies, gently asking for care and attention? Could it be that the quality of our sleep, just as much as our diet or exercise, holds the key to more energy, a brighter mood, and a better memory, no matter how many candles are on our birthday cake? Science makes a compelling case for taking sleep seriously, especially as we grow older. According to researchers at the National Institutes of Health and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, deep, restorative sleep is vital for both physical and mental health. While it's true that aging can change our sleep patterns, our bodies and brains still need about 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep every night to repair tissues, balance hormones, and clear away the waste that builds up in our brains during the day. Poor sleep doesn't just leave us tired, it can increase the risk of heart disease, diabetes, depression, and memory problems. Chronic insomnia or frequent waking can sap our energy, cloud our thinking, and even make us more prone to falls and accidents. The reasons we lose sleep are many. Changes in hormones, aches and pains, nighttime trips to the bathroom, worries about health or family, and even the blue light from our TVs or tablets can all keep us from getting the rest we need. Sometimes, it's an old mattress or a noisy environment. Other times, it's the silent burden of loneliness or anxiety. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. We drag through our days, never quite feeling our best. But here's the encouraging part. You can gently transform your sleep, often with just a few small changes. The first step is to pay attention to your routine. Try going to bed and waking up at the same times every day, even on weekends. This helps set your internal clock and makes it easier to fall asleep naturally. In the hour before bed, create a calming routine. Dim the lights, read a soothing book, or listen to gentle music. Avoid bright screens and stressful news. Give your mind a chance to wind down. If you like, try a warm shower or a few minutes of gentle stretching to relax your muscles. It can help to keep your bedroom cool, quiet, and as dark as possible. Blackout curtains, soft earplugs, or a white noise machine can make a surprising difference. And while it's tempting to nap during the day, keep naps short, about 20 to 30 minutes, and not too late in the afternoon. Avoid caffeine late in the day, and try not to eat heavy meals right before bed. Let me share a story that might feel familiar. Frank, a retired school principal in our town, used to joke that he did his best thinking at 2 a.m. He'd lie awake, replaying old conversations, worrying about his family, or planning projects he'd never start. He'd watch TV to pass the time, sometimes doze in his chair in the afternoon, but never woke feeling refreshed. Over the years, Frank's energy faded, and he became more irritable. He chalked it up to aging. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. At a routine checkup, his doctor asked him about sleep and gently encouraged him to take it more seriously. Frank was skeptical, but he tried some simple changes. He set a regular bedtime, made his room cooler, started reading instead of watching TV before bed, and left his worries on a piece of paper next to the lamp. Within a month, he noticed a difference. His mind felt clearer, his mood brighter, and he had the energy to get back to his morning walks. "I never knew what I was missing," Frank said. "I thought feeling tired was just part of getting old, but it doesn't have to be." If you struggle with sleep, know that you are not alone. Many seniors face similar challenges. The key is not to give up or accept exhaustion as your new normal, but to be gentle with yourself and try new strategies. If you still have trouble, it's worth talking with your doctor. Sleep problems can sometimes signal other health issues, or be made worse by certain medications. There may be simple solutions, changing a prescription, treating pain, or addressing sleep apnea, that can help you rest better. Remember, good sleep is not a luxury or a reward for the young. It's a vital foundation for your health, happiness, and independence at any age. Treat your sleep with the same respect you give to your meals or your exercise. Permit yourself to slow down in the evening, to close your eyes without guilt, and to protect those precious hours as an investment in your well-being. So tonight, when you slip into bed, take a moment to thank your body for all it does for you each day. Set aside your worries and give yourself the gift of rest. You deserve it, not just because you've worked hard or cared for others, but because you are still living, still growing, still needed. Let sleep restore your spirit, sharpen your mind, and fill you with the energy to make tomorrow a little brighter than today. You are never too old to find your way back to restful sleep. It may take some time and a little patience, but with each good night, you'll rediscover how it feels to wake up ready for a new day. Sleep well, dear friend. The best adventures are waiting for you, just on the other side of a good night's rest. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to remember one important truth. Your energy, joy, and sense of purpose do not have to fade away with the years. Each of the habits we've explored, from trying something new and reaching out to others, to being mindful of what you eat, guarding your mind against too much negativity, and honoring your need for restful sleep, holds the power to transform your days in ways big and small. Aging does bring challenges, but it also brings a kind of wisdom and resilience that only life experience can give. It's easy to fall into routines that seem safe, or to believe the old stories that tell us, this is just how it is now. But you are not limited by your age, or by habits that no longer serve you. Every day is a new chance to choose differently, to invest in your well-being, and to open yourself to the simple joys that make life rich and meaningful. No matter where you are on this path, it's never too late to take that first step, however small, toward more energy and greater happiness. Maybe today you reach out to a friend, try a new recipe, or turn off the news for a quiet walk outside. Maybe tonight, you make your sleep a true priority. These small acts, done with intention, add up over time to a life that feels vibrant, connected, and deeply satisfying. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you leave this video feeling encouraged, empowered, and inspired to cherish your health and happiness at every age. Remember, you deserve to live each day with energy, purpose, and joy. Let's keep moving forward together.